Okay, Robby here, Dodgy Garage, mobile DPF cleaning. This is a FordCMax, and customer says that the DPF is blocked and keeps on blocking, so let's get in and take a look. Okay, so I've already plugged in the scan tool. The OBD port is here. Somebody's already been here before me and they've unfortunately broken this. But it plugs in over there. I've already dialed into the vehicle. Let me just switch the ignition on. These Fords, okay, and then you got to. So let me just escape. Okay, so here in the PCM, this car's got very few fault codes. I've already looked in the BCM and it's irrelevant information. It's about a light bulb. So PCM, we have got 3 fault codes, power control module, and while we are here, the mileage there is 65,000 miles. And on interviewing the customer, he says he's had ongoing problems with this vehicle, and it's a very low mileage vehicle to be giving trouble. And it turns out that he's using this car to go to work and back, which is 10-15 minutes down the road, and I do believe that that's where the problem is. It's a diesel. Diesels need long distances, and short trips are going to definitely make sure that that DPF blocks up. So let's go into the PCM, and we're going to go to trouble codes, retrieve continuous memory. Just wait for it to load up. And there we have, okay, so we've got the one code, P242C, is exhaust gas temperature circuit low, bank 1, sensor 3. That, I believe, is going to have to be changed. And then obviously we've got the code 2463 and 246C, particular filter restriction. So that's not a problem. What we're going to do is go and have a look at live data and look at the actual pressure inside the DPF, because that's going to tell us what's going on. And we're looking for differential pressure. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right, so we've got to go in to that little connector there, and then we're going to connect the manometer onto that, and we want to check that the pressure correlates on the manometer with what I'm getting inside on the scan tool, just to confirm that it's working correctly. Okay, so we're going to connect this guy up, and we're looking for a similar reading. Okay, that's at 17.3, 17. So the pressure sensor is actually quite a lot out. This is at 17.3, so we need to reduce that. And then it's telling me that the pressure sensor is not telling the true story. It's reading 10 millibars when we're actually at 17.3. So there's a bit of a problem there. Okay, and then on this car, if you looking at the engine from over here and you go down over here, this is where your DPF pressure sensor is. This is it here, this guy here. But because it's reading slightly lower than what the actual pressure is, I'm advising this guy to not change it, because they are expensive. But more importantly is that temperature sensor number 3 has apparently been changed, and there's an invoice here for it on the dash having been changed. But if I take you underneath the vehicle and we look along the exhaust, I'm going to show you that it doesn't actually look like anything has been changed. And there's a temperature sensor. That one right there, that's not been changed. And if I'm correct, that should be number 3. There are other sensors along here, knock sensors and things, but certainly none of these have been changed. So just gonna have to go back to that garage, and then over here there's a break in this cable, but it's just the cover that's broken. The actual cable underneath is fine, and that'll just be from maybe the car touching a bit of concrete over a steep hump or something. But anyway, that's where we are for the moment. Okay, and with the car idling, it's now idling. I've got chemicals in this pressure gun, and we just squeeze the trigger and put them straight in. It's going to take about a minute to get all the chemicals in, and then we'll bring the car up to temperature after half an hour. Let the chemicals do their thing for half an hour, bring the car up to temperature, clear all the codes, tell the car it's got a new DPF, and I think then we should be good to go. Okay, so now if we look at the fault codes, we've got a new fault code in here, which is particulate filter pressure too low, and the reason being is that I was revving it with the pressure sensor disconnected. So then we go to live data. I've brought the car up to temperature, and we now look at the pressure inside the DPF, which is alright. So if we look here now, exhaust gas pressure kPa 1, we're at 0 to about 1 millibar almost of pressure, so it's going kPa PA, so it's absolutely clear now. Just now when I was looking at it, it was at 400 PA, which is about 4 millibar. It's now pretty much between 0 and 1 millibar of pressure, believe it or not. So that's absolutely spot on. Then the next thing that we do is we go back, we then go to hot functions. I've already done this, but I'm just going through the process to show you how that works. You go to particular filter, reset learn values, which I've done already. I've told it it's got a new DPF, it's happy with that. Then the last thing I've got to do is go back to auto scan, because if you look up here, the engine management light is still on and the fault codes are still in the vehicle, on the vehicle, in the PCM there. Switch the engine off, turn the ignition back on again, otherwise it won't work. And then you quick erase, and that's now cleared the fault codes. This one fault code in BCI I think is for a light bulb. Have a quick look at that. Well, that's obviously not going to go anywhere. Okay, so it's the stop lamp, park brake, apply switch, wiper motor, dum-da-dum-da-dum, all of those are not for me here today. So we go back again, scan it again, fault scan. Oh, now it's got an ABS one. But main thing that I'm interested in here, PCM, power control module. Is it clear? Are we good? Yes, we are. Let's have a look at this ABS. Trouble codes. Ignition input on. Really? Really? Okay. Go back, escape, quick erase. We're all good. BCM will stay on. That's it. So believe it or not, that's it. We're good. My customer here has been advised to take this car for a drive once a week to keep this DPF clear, because it is now clear. And it seems to me it's the short trips that has contributed to the DPF going in, blocking up in the car going into limp mode. Take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.